G'day Bomber fans, the silly season has begun before the trade period. There is lots going on right now involving Essendon. There could be a lot of movement this year at the club, most of it outgoing, but it's still news regardless. There's a lot of rumours to get through today, so I'm just going to get into it super quickly. Starting with Shiel. Now he recently came out and confirmed that there was interest last year in him from St Kilda. He was very open and honest about the trade discussions, which was great to hear, but since then, Ryan has actually come out and said that the interest in Shiel from the Saints has cooled down. They are no longer looking to bring him in, apparently, and instead they'll turn their attention elsewhere. So Shiel may still be at Essendon in 2025, which I'm sure will frustrate quite a few of you. But keep in mind, there is still over a month until the trade period kicks off, so there is plenty of time for a new club to throw their hat in the ring and try to pry Shiel away for a year or two. He showed he still has good footy left in him at the end of the season, but as of right now, if I had to guess, I'd guess he stays put. There's still lots of time for that to change, though. This one's definitely not done yet. Jayden Laverde. Now, this one's come out of nowhere, and if you want more backstory, I'd check out the video I released yesterday about the contract standoff. But to sum that up, Jayden Laverde wants an extension on his existing deal that runs out next year. The club don't want to give him that extra security. They're happy with the deal that he currently has, so it has other clubs thinking that perhaps Laverde could be pried away from the Bombers. Sam McClure actually went as far as to say that the club told Laverde he can play the market if he wants as well. A few have touched on this already. McClure, Sam Edmund actually started off earlier in the week, so there is a bit here. There's a bit of smoke, and there are even named clubs interested. St Kilda and Carlton have both been named as potential destinations. Both are apparently showing a level of interest, so definitely watch how this one plays out. He is contracted, so a lot would have to go right for him to end up moving away. My gut feeling is that we keep him. We really need the depth. He's pretty much the only key defender we actually have that stays healthy. Sure, he isn't a great player, but he's at least available, something that Ridley, Reid, and Cox aren't. Jake Stringer, now he's directly tied into that Laverde saga as well. He and Laverde both met with the club to arrange extensions on their contracts that wind down next year. Stringer hit a games played clause to trigger to get a 1-year extension on his existing deal that ran out at the end of 2024, but he wants more than that. He wants 2 years. Scott and Rosa said no, that they said he was free to look around if he wants, and there are some that believe he could be doing that. There would be loads of clubs interested if they thought he was available. 42 goals in a year is nothing to be scoffed at. It was one away from being a top 10 Coleman finish. No clubs have been named yet, but if this whole contract standoff drags on, I think we'd hear a lot about it in the trade period. So watch how Stringer and Laverde's situation plays out over the next week or two. Ben Hobbs is being watched by Collingwood. They are keen on the young midfielder who is not getting much game time at the top level for Essendon. They think they can give him more midfield opportunities. They probably would as well. And with Shiel appearing more likely to stay now, Hobbs himself may agree with the Pies. He's contracted, so that makes this tough. And the club would want him on their books for another year, given how much promise he's shown in his first couple of seasons. My gut feeling is that he stays put with the club, but when another team is interested, it makes the rumours real. So there could well be a bit to play out here. It's all well and good to just throw names in these videos because they're gettable, but Ben Hobbs is genuinely being sought after by another club, so watch this space. Tsatas, similar story to Ben Hobbs, first round draftee who's being underutilised by the club. He couldn't break into the team late this year. He had multiple 40 disposal games in the VFL, but he was given no love in the seniors. Cal Toomey quite early in the year said he expected rival clubs to be coming for Tsatas. These out-of-favour young midfielders are golden for trade bait, but I expect Tsatas to remain with the Dons. For starters, he signed an extension this year that keeps him to the club for 2026. He's safe and secure and still young enough for the club to prove to him that they see him in their future visions, and getting a deal done would just be way too hard. He was pick 5, so I'm sure the club would ask for a high draft pick in return, given he was only taken 2 drafts ago, but other clubs would be right to argue that and want to cough up less, so I just don't see how a win-win trade could get done for a player this young and this raw, so I think it just makes more sense that Tsatas stays put with the Bombers. Wright, now there isn't really much to this one, but Sam Edmund has said that he's heard whispers about Wright. Direct quote, by the way, whispers is the word. So he said, heard from sources that Wright's name has bobbed up once or twice. The rumours are borderline non-existent. If you want to find anything about it online or in the news, you won't. That's how quickly this one was brushed over. But Sam Edmund did say it on radio, so I'll keep it in this video in case anything else emerges from Edmund. Bryan, now this was looking like our main target for rivals earlier in the season, but those last few games late in the year could have a big impact on his decision to stay put or to request a trade. He's still contracted till 2025, so he can't just up and leave. He would have to get a trade done, and it's looking like he decides to play out his contract before making that decision. If he plays regular footy in 2025, early in 2025, I'm sure the club will try and lock him up for a longer deal to avoid any unwanted opposition advances, so it's looking like we probably don't have to worry about Bryan leaving this trade period. From one ruck to another, Cal Toomey raised Sam Draper's name as a potential trade target for 2025, so nothing this year. He's a free agent next year. See how South Aussie. Toomey specifically named the Adelaide Crows as the clubs that could come hard for him, but again, it won't be this year. If anything was to occur, it would be in 2025. Alright, now potential incoming players. I'm going to start with guys that I've actually seen us linked with and spoken about, and then rattle off a few names that you guys wanted to hear about. Starting with Harley Reid. Now, the big story, if we can even call it a story, was a bloke who apparently saw Harley Reid meet with Matt Rosa at a cafe. Now, I'm calling BS on this. I don't believe it. Sure, it's possible, I guess, but I really do not buy it from a blurry photo of Reid sitting on his own. People always try and make stories this time out of year out of nothing. I've seen no one credible confirm this. I'm going to say it didn't happen, and even if I'm wrong and it did happen, tell me how a trade gets done for Reid. West Coast turned down 4 first-round draft picks from North for pick 1 last year when they selected Reid. He would cost more now. And yes, you can throw in plays in the comments. It's easy to say we trade Martin and Parrish for Reid or something. I see those comments all the time, but with player-for-player trades, you need to, first of all, ensure the Eagles actually want those players for Reid, and then ensure the players actually want to leave the club. It's just not going to happen. I don't want to get any hopes up here. Reid will be with West Coast next year. Malcolm Rosas. Now, this is a guy we've actually been linked with before. The Suns are now allowing Rosas to be shopped around. They have quite a few academy kids requiring new deals soon, and some more coming in through the doors in the draft. So there's plenty of small forwards there. They're allowing Rosas to move if he wants to. They're not forcing him out, but they're lightly nudging him. Now, Rosas is handy as well. He's young. He's impactful. He kicked multiple goals in every game that he wasn't the sub for in 2024. Clubs are already talking to Rosas and Gold Coast, it seems. The Crows have been named early. I don't know if we're in the mix, but we have been in the past. I think back in 2021 we tried to get him over, but he stayed put at Gold Coast, so watch this space, I guess. Matt Owies is still somehow out of contract. Absolutely baffling that he hasn't been signed up, and it's even more baffling that no clubs have come really hard to try and convince him to leave while he's on the market. Essendon have been loosely linked, but it's looking like this one will be sewn up pretty soon, apparently. I've seen a couple in the media pretty confident that Owies will remain with the Blues next year, especially with guys like Jack Martin and Jack Carroll exploring their options. Joe Richards, keeping on with the small forwards. Now, we're out of this one. We were linked early. I think it was Beveridge or Toomey that linked us at one stage. I'm not 100% sure. But right now, it's looking like he goes to Port, who are coming very hard for him, or he stays put at Collingwood. Either way, but according to Mitch Cleary, this is wild. Port are offering him a 4-year deal. That is crazy. We just can't compete with that. This guy kicked 6 goals this season. He's barely played footy, and he's being offered a 4-year deal. I don't know what to make of that news. I don't understand. I don't know if it's real or not. I don't know why he'd be receiving such a long contract. So this one's out of our hands. We're not going to be involved from here. We can sit back and watch this weird one unfold with popcorn. Liam Ryan. Cal Toomey linked us to Liam Ryan very loosely though, but Ryan is apparently considering his future, whether or not he wants to stay with West Coast. But I will say the link came earlier in the year before NGA rules changed. Now we have access to Kako, and it also came when we were higher up the ladder, and it would make more sense if we were in a premiership push, get that X-Factor small forward in, but now we are further away from what many thought we would be, so it's likely we skip past Liam Ryan. I haven't heard much about it anyway in the last few weeks. Harry Perryman. Now, we were linked early in the season. I haven't heard anything about us for weeks though. But I think this is a guy we really should have made a big play for. Right now, I don't know what his decision is. It's between staying at GWS, moving to Port, and moving to Hawthorn, it seems. Unfortunately, it looks like we're not in the race, and it looks like it's too late for us to be involved. I'd love to be proven wrong, see us giving Perryman a Tullamarine tour, but it just seems like we aren't that keen, and I don't know why. I think he would have fit into our backline nicely, and he is a free agent, so we could grab him and attack the draft with our hand unharmed, but it looks like we're not going to be involved here. Alright, now on to fan links. These are the guys that you guys wanted to hear about. I included most. I left a few out. I'll make another one of these videos soon, and I'll include those others. So cheers for all the suggestions. I couldn't get through them all. Petracca is not going to happen. He's come out and said he's sticking with Melbourne, despite reports suggesting he was desperate to leave. Not hating on the media here or anything. There were some truth to this story from the way Gawn and others spoke. Petracca was clearly not happy with Melbourne, but it looks like it's been resolved for now. He won't be on the move. Even if he was to be traded, or he wanted to be traded, we wouldn't be involved. It would be impossible to get done. Dan Houston is another one who has come out and said he is staying put with his club. He said that he will be with Port Adelaide next year, despite some reports that he wanted to play in Victoria. Melbourne and St Kilda were heavily linked with Houston, but it doesn't mean a lot. He'll be staying put, it seems. Another one staying put till next year is Luke Davies-Uniacke. There's going to be plenty of clubs keen on him next year when he becomes a free agent, but nothing really to focus on right now. If anything was to happen, it would be next season, so let's move on. Nick Haynes, veteran key defender. I think there's definitely a chance to bring a guy like Haynes in if Laverde was to leave. We would need another mature option to replace him, but I would personally rather Laverde. Haynes is 33 next year. He's played 8 games this season. I think this is a last resort kind of option. He's already linked to Carlton and North Melbourne anyway though. Isaac Cumming, GWS wingman, good player. He's underrated, a free agent. He's another one who will make his mind up after the season ends. GWS are still playing footy, remember? He can stay at the Giants on less money or move to Fremantle or Port Adelaide. Both clubs, or Adelaide, sorry. The Adelaide Crows. They're actually in the box seat to signing up right now. All 3 of those clubs are keen, so there's a bit to go on here. Finally, Josh Rachele, Adelaide youngster. I feel like we can forget about this one pretty quickly as well. He doesn't appear to be unsettled despite the recent news about him being dropped and Laird openly criticising him. He is Victorian, so we would be in the mix if he did want to leave, but as of right this second, it seems like he'll be with Adelaide next year. And that is that. Those are all the trade rumours involving Essendon and some others that I threw in there as well for you guys. Longer video, so cheers for sticking around. That is all for now though. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and as always, go Bombers.